Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. My name is Scott. We are here to go through the kickoff show for Elimination Chamber. It is time for your watch-along experience. We're about 10 minutes away from the WWE Elimination Chamber Kickoff show starting, and we're going to be breaking down each and every one of the big stories to come out of it. Really enjoy doing these streams because you never know what's going to happen on these wild kickoff shows. They're definitely off script from time to time. So let's get excited about it, and we'll talk about it right after this.
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.
All right, everyone. So, yeah, we are about 9 minutes away from WWE's kickoff show starting for the Elimination Chamber. Thank you to everyone that joined me earlier on in the earlier stream for the weekend kickoff show that we had here on the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. So thank you for those that joined me there. I'm looking forward to diving into more conversations surrounding what's going to happen at Elimination Chamber throughout this stream as well. But the idea for this is to be your watch-along companion, essentially, for WWE's official kickoff show, which, again, is going to be starting in just a few moments now. So if you're watching with me live, go to WWE's YouTube page, essentially, have that in the other tab, and I'll be your companion piece for that show tonight. If you're watching on demand, then hey, line up the stream that WWE have put out there and enjoy it with me anyway. It's going to be a fun one. As I say, I really enjoy doing these streams because they are so weird. I'll be honest. It's about an hour of kind of off-script WWE promos, it feels. It's going to be interesting to see who actually is appearing on it, judging by the graphic that WWE released, which we've made use of here as well. It looks like we are going to get appearances from Punk, Cody, Liv, Bayley, Stratton, and Drew McIntyre, which is interesting because, well, of course, they've all got big matches on the PLE. That's a given. But some of those really factor into some interesting storylines going forward, especially rumors that have popped up this week, essentially, and how that will affect the road to WrestleMania and the WrestleMania card. So it'll be interesting to see if we get any kind of early indication as to any maybe possible twists and turns behind the scenes that have led to different booking decisions than what people originally expected. Of course, we talked about it quite a lot on the weekend kickoff stream, but a lot of rumors going around at the moment that Drew McIntyre is going to be the one that wins the Elimination Chamber. I know a lot of people originally thought it might be someone like John Cena or CM Punk, but lately it seems like a lot of predictions are heading towards the Scotsman's way instead. Now, CM Punk is someone that we didn't even get to talk about. I kept mentioning it on the weekend kickoff show, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to the WWE kickoff show, and therefore analyzing it and seeing kind of if we can get any kind of hint as to what this might mean for him at the Chamber and therefore him going into WrestleMania as well. Casper's back in the house and says Liv Morgan to win the Elimination Chamber 2025. Let's break down the card before WWE's kickoff show begins. And again, we'll be your companion piece throughout the next hour or so that WWE will be live. We'll be here breaking down what's going on the stream and just kind of sharing thoughts and opinions on it as well. But before we do, as I say, let's break down some of the card already. Of course, only 4 matches on this card. Casper mentioned it just there. We've got the Women's Elimination Chamber match between Roxanne Perez, Bayley, Naomi, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, and Alexa Bliss. Casper thinks Liv might be winning that one. Love to know what the rest of you guys think. So let me know in the comments, guys, what you think will be the result in this one and the rest of them, including a big match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn that is labeled as an unsanctioned match. Now, what will that mean? Are they going to be wearing street clothes? Is it going to be something that doesn't really end with a definitive winner? Will it be a no contest, which is what I was predicting earlier on this week in our original prediction show? Or will it be a clear winner and, hey, that's the end of the feud? I don't think that's the case. I do feel like we're going to WrestleMania with this one. Speaking of WrestleMania, you've got Tiffy time, of course, who is now WWE champion, and Charlotte is chasing behind her, essentially trying to get a hold of that title once again. Now, will we see Charlotte tonight? On Elimination Chamber, I should say, maybe on the kickoff show as well. But will we see her squeezing her way into this match somehow with an interference or something like that? I think something dodgy might be going on with Trish, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later on, and we'll talk a bit more about that, of course, on the build-up show as well. Then we go into the men's Elimination Chamber match. Now, this is also a hard one to pick, but straight away, I think there are a few here that you can disregard, especially if it's to simply go and face Cody Rhodes. Unless there are twists and turns at that point, I don't see there being too many candidates here. But the three that I would pick are the three that I think many have been going for so far: CM Punk, John Cena, or Drew McIntyre, as I mentioned earlier on. But you never know. We've seen stranger things, right? It could be Seth Rollins, it could be Logan Paul, and maybe it'll be Damian Priest. But it'll be interesting to see, as I say, what WWE do as we kind of file into Elimination Chamber weekend. Now, again, we started earlier on with our kickoff stream. I appreciate everyone that joined us on this one. As I mentioned, though, Saturday night, you know what it's all about. We head straight into the PLE with our traditional preview show, which is the build-up show. If you haven't already, please subscribe, guys. Check out more of our content because we will be going live until the show kicks off itself. So again, you've got plenty of previews from the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling crew over this weekend. You may be watching this live, you may be watching this on demand, or you may even be watching this as a replay on the build-up show, because of course the first half of it, you may know now, starts with our recap coverage, and then we go live with the rest of the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling crew, and friends from the wrestling media should hopefully be joining us as well. Casper says it would be good if Alexa Bliss did win the Elimination Chamber 2025. So you're going for Liv or Alexa? You're a bit torn, it seems. Look, I love both of them. I think their work has been incredible. Liv recently, of course. Alexa, I'm talking about her time before she went away, but it was so good to see her back, right? But yeah, look, generally speaking, I'd be happy for them to be in that position. The only thing for me is Alexa. I think out of the two, Alexa's more likely, because Alexa doesn't have a clear storyline at the moment, other than the fact that it seems like, I say fact, but what it seems to be her being linked to the Wyatt Six, right? That doesn't really, to me, align with the women's title picture at the moment. Although it would give them something to do, right? I don't know. Liv Morgan, though, look, again, really big fan of her work. I don't see her going after Rhea again, assuming that Rhea is still going to be champ. Of course, Io Sky could win it before WrestleMania, but I reckon it's going to be Rhea. And while that, again, is a WrestleMania-worthy match, that feud is dead and buried by now, surely. And if it's not, then it needs to be for a little bit at least. But those are my picks. As I mentioned, though, big fan of the work of those ladies. I did have the opportunity to interview Liv Morgan when she was a champion. So if you haven't seen that already, check it out on this very channel. Great conversation with Liv Morgan the first time she became a women's champion in the WWE. Also had the privilege of having a conversation with Rhea Ripley as well. So if you haven't already, again, please subscribe and to sink your teeth into. And speaking of which, we are about to sink our teeth into the official kickoff show from the WWE, because they are about to get up and running very, very soon. It feels like we're about a minute away, guys. And again, if you're watching that show live, keep me on in the background. You know, we'll be a companion piece. That's the idea for this. I'll be your watch-along companion, giving you a little bit of running commentary, essentially, as the show goes on. As I mentioned earlier on, though, big fan of WWE doing these events. I think they're just so weird. They don't feel like canon. They just feel out of the ordinary, you know? So, yeah, I really enjoy them. I know not a lot of people cover this, so I appreciate those that have been looking for content surrounding it and that have joined us tonight, as I have every time we've covered a kickoff show. Of course, the first one, we always mention it, the one for WrestleMania last year, right? And it wasn't the day before, as has become tradition. It was about 2 weeks out, maybe even a month out, and it's when, of course, Cody and Rock getting a bit of a bother between each other, and the bloodline storyline was played out, and it turns out no, we were twisted somewhere else, and it led to an incredible road to WrestleMania, and then eventually an amazing WrestleMania event in itself. looking forward to seeing what they do on the Mania kickoff. But for now, we are here for Elimination Chamber kickoff. The Then Now Forever signature has just started playing on the WWE stream, so we are getting ready to go here on WWE's official kickoff. Casper says Candice LeRae and Nia Jax is an interesting team. Yeah, look, I'm just happy they're using them. Candice LeRae always feels on the fringes, you know, like how they're going to use her. And I think this is probably the most she's been used in her entire main roster call up. Nia Jax as well. I think she's been really good since she come back. So yeah, interested to see what more they can do together. I don't know what they will do going to WrestleMania though. I mean, this match tonight on the card, even it's not about them, right? It's about the other guys, surely. So interesting to see where that takes us. So we are looking at the arena for the Elimination Chamber. So we've got a good idea as to what the stage and the setup's going to look like. We can see the chamber above the ring. They're now showing some footage outside. But we can see what the arena looks like. Now, CM Punk is walking backstage now. So Punk is definitely on tonight's kickoff show. Good point. I've just been reminded. Drew won last year. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. What does that mean for my prediction? Oh, I don't know. Okay, now Roxanne Perez as well. So it looks like she's going to be featured on the kickoff show by WWE tonight as well. Bailey's in the house. Liv and Raquel. They seem to get a lot of time on these kickoff shows, if I'm right. So once again, guys, you're joining me with this watch-along experience of WWE's Elimination Chamber kickoff show. Trish Stratus now being shown as well. There's a lot of people on this kickoff show. A lot. So it's always interesting to see the setup for this. Of course, many of these kickoff shows have been held when they're at international venues. Of course, Canada, international as well, but still part of North America. So they haven't always done it in the US, at least. They did it in Canada before, if I remember correctly. Do I remember correctly? They certainly have done it in France, in Saudi, in Germany. So interested to see the setup they've got here. Of course, at Saudi, they had it in that WWE Experience Center thing they've got. So that looked very different. Sometimes they're outside, sometimes they're inside. I mean, here I've seen the setup. So is it in the arena? At the moment, though, we're seeing a very cool and scary promo package for the chamber. Casper says Tiffany and Trish Stratus is interesting. Yep, again, going up against Nia and Candice, of course. I do think it's because I think Trish might turn. Of course, I mentioned that on my original predictions and on our weekend kickoff stream, but I'll dive into that more with the other guys, I'm sure, on the live portion of the build-up show on Saturday. But you also mentioned CM Punk to win the chamber. I mean, again, I've barely talked about Punk, which is crazy because a few days ago, he probably would have been my main pick. But don't worry, we'll dive into Punk some more. So Michael Cole's now on the stage, which is basically this. Well, it's the entrance stage to the PLE. So it'd be interesting to see where the fans are in this. Okay, they're taking it back now, talking about WrestleMania 6. Same building, the Sky Dome had WrestleMania 18, Hogan and Rock, yep. Wait, so is that what they're saying? It's in the Rogers Center, is it? The Sky Dome? Wow. I didn't realize it was that big of a show. I mean, I know these shows like in Perth, it was massive last year, but that's because it was an Australian PLE, right? So the Rogers Centre holds. Let's have a look. Well, its record is WrestleMania 18, 68,237. Wow. Are they expecting? I mean, it makes sense now. They've been really, really pushing tickets. I mean, all the promo stuff around, like, when they show on WWE's YouTube highlights or they show stuff from last year or greatest chamber matches, has got a big banner that says buy tickets, buy tickets. And obviously, they usually try and shift tickets, but it felt a lot more this week. And that makes sense now if the venue is that big. So is that where they are now then? Or are they at some different venue? No, it is there because the chamber's set up. Christopher in the house. Roxanne Perez was looking so beautiful. Christopher, a big fan of Roxanne, it seems. I am looking forward to seeing what she can do in the chamber. As we mentioned earlier on our weekend kickoff show, it was this time last year that Tiffany Stratton was in that position. So yeah, interested to see if Roxanne is pushed even further and quicker than Tiffany was. Now they're breaking down the women's chamber at the moment. Just Michael Cole out there, by the way. No Pat McAfee, no Triple H, who tends to kick these off quite quickly as well. And they've not showed the fans yet. You can hear them. Wow. Michael Cole says Liv's had the most appearances in the chamber. And right on cue, he's been interrupted, not by Liv, but by Roxanne Perez. All right. So, yeah, talking about veterans now into the debutant. It's going to be interesting because, of course, we've seen her in a Rumble, but every time you see an NXT call up or even Jordan Grace, that's it. It's crowded in this, everybody else being in it as well. While it's a big talking point, this is a huge, huge spotlight on Roxanne Perez now. Okay, Roxanne don't just want to get it done. She wants to dominate. She did dominate the women's division in NXT, and it's been a very, very well spoken about women's division as well. So she's done it in a period where that division is getting a lot of love. Casper says, I'm not watching the kickoff show. I've seen a few kickoff shows on the Triple H era, but I do remember watching Clash at the Castle, but chilling with you on screen. Thank you, Casper. I appreciate that, mate. Yeah, whether you're watching the kickoff show or you're not, it's great to have you with us. I'll keep you up to date, Casper, with what's going on anyway. But if you are watching WWE's official kickoff show, then again, we appreciate those keeping us as a companion piece alongside that running commentary, essentially, to let you know what's going on there and just let you know my thoughts of the big stories coming out of it, really. And at the moment, it's the fact that Bayley's music hit. So Bayley is now making her way onto the stage to interrupt Roxanne Perez. And she couldn't be too nice to Michael Cole, of course. So, of course, Bayley and Roxanne have had a bit of a back and forth lately. Bayley went down, of course, to NXT to deal with this as well. All right, Bayley just laughing at Roxanne being short. I mean, Gary would have loved that on the kickoff show we did earlier because he was talking about the shortness of Naomi for some strange reason. Now, this is the story, right? These two. It doesn't seem... Oh, now another interruption. Liv Morgan's coming out. But I'm not sure. Because my pick, if you didn't see my predictions, guys, if you didn't see our weekend kickoff either, my pick is Roxanne Perez, but simply because I can't see anyone else really making sense. Even though Roxanne doesn't make loads of sense either, it's too obvious. Well, Liv thinks it's her. Of course she would. Her and Raquel have come out now. Christopher says, my favorite superstars are Bailey and Roxanne Perez. So, yeah, you're going to love this match, mate. Casper says, I'd be surprised. Not surprised. I'd be surprised, not surprised if Roxanne wins the chamber. Yeah, I mean, look, it is. That's the thing about Roxanne. It'd be a massive, massive leap forward very quickly, wouldn't it? But it's just, Liv's got a title. Naomi and Bianca seem like they're going to be busy. Bailey doesn't make sense. And Alexa White 6, I don't see her having any kind of involvement in the world title picture. So, and Liv's got a tag title. Like, she doesn't need it. And okay, now Michael Cole's asking about Jade Cargill. Okay, here we go. All right, so okay. Right, okay. Jade's definitely coming back from the way they're talking about it, but an interesting little kind of point there is that Liv. Oh no, Liv's been attacked by Bianca. She fell off the stage. No, they're still on the stage. All right. They're all going out. Amy's there as well. Oh, wow. You don't see this on the kickoff show, guys. This is something different. And I said this, I think, on the last kickoff stream, that you don't see, as much as I enjoy these streams, you don't get a lot of storyline progression in them. So this might be now featured in the promo package and the kind of hype behind the match, right? And this is the way these should be used, I think, as well. Right, okay, so breakdown. Liv said... Oh, it looks like they're going to talk to Jade Naomi. Liv said, look, we didn't do it. We've told you a million times. But you know what? Actually, what if we did? What's Jade going to do about it? She ain't in the match. We are, which makes me think she's showing up. But again, I feel like it's because of Naomi and Bianca, unless that's what's revealed on the weekly shows, on SmackDown or something like that. But yeah, in that time, Bianca and Naomi have come out and attacked him, which you would expect as far as what their characters would do, right? I didn't expect it on the kickoff show, but that was cool. A little bit of a hustle and bustle on there. So now we're seeing the venue from the outside again, but no footage of the fans, which again, the reason why these are so fun, guys, is because the fans basically have a great time. It looks like a good laugh. Like, it's a free event for fans, and they get themselves hyped up and in the mood, and as we do, of course, on this channel. And thanks for sticking with us on this stream. We'll be doing the same, for the build-up show heading into the PLE itself on the later hours of Saturday evening. Oh, who's next? Oh, Trish Stratus. Okay, here we go. Oh, now you can see the fans. So they're kind of either side of the ramp, which is, I guess, why they're not showing it like they usually do, the kind of back shot of everything. Trish in Maple Leafs inspired gear, of course, in Toronto for this event. Thank you, Trish. Chant. Now they're showing the fans. I know they don't want to make the venue look empty, but like, it was never going to have 80,000 for a kickoff show, would it? So it's all right. About 25 years in for Trish Stratus. Nice, easy commute, she says. Trish just happy to be back, it seems. Christopher says, I'll be happy if Roxanne Perez or Bailey wins tomorrow night. I'd be happy for Roxanne. I don't know about Bailey because I just don't see. Look, I think Bailey's great. I just don't see it making sense storyline at the moment, which is a shame. Last year was her time, and I'm glad she got it. I'm glad she went to WrestleMania, won the Royal Rumble. Um, it was really good. Big fan of Bailey. And look, I've had the opportunity to interview her in the past. She was very nice to us, even though she was a heel at the time. She was a bit mean as well. No, she was great. If you haven't already, check that out. So they're talking about the history again of the Sky Dome, as it was known at the time. WrestleMania 18 was a fantastic WrestleMania, by the way. It's crazy because 17 was amazing, and I think widely considered the best by a lot of people, including me. But 18 and 19 were so good, and then 20 was good. Like, it was a hot streak of WrestleManias, man. So Trish is asking if we're ready for Trishy time and Tiffy time, but guys, I got a feeling Trishy's turning heel. I said it on the weekend preview. I said it on my predictions. I got a feeling, man. I really do. Ding dong, hello to you, Christopher. Now they're talking about the changes, I guess, in the presentation of women and the opportunities that women like Trish and Lita had to work for and work around. The thing is, man, she was a heel. She was a heel last time we saw her, and she was a good heel. If she doesn't turn heel, like, it makes sense still. It's a home, event for her, 25 years and all that. Passing the torch to Tiffany. I like it. Oh, here we go. Nia Jax. And Candice LeRae with her as well. They're saying they're over it and they don't care. What's going on? Is Tiffany going to come out and back her friend up? Big reactions there for Nia. Probably the loudest it's been. And now Candice basically telling the audience that they don't care about Trish. What was that from Nia? I need you to shut up, but very high pitch. I'm not going to do an impression of it. Nia's on fire on the mic. So nobody cares about you leaving and coming back, and then want to be with Tiffy time. And she wants to annihilate a Stratus faction. Oh, just saying, why don't you do something about it? Not even on the mic. That's fight talk. What was that? And you look like it was blurred. It must have been a 4-letter word starting with S, I assume. And I think she was talking to Michael Cole. They were about to leave, but now they're playing up to the crowd some more. Well, no sign of Tiffany there, but Trish kind of sticking up for herself, which might play into her being a little bit fed up and turning. Who knows? We'll see. I get some comments here as well. Casper says, Scott, I've said before I'm a massive fan of Becky Lynch, but maybe her time is up in WWE. I have to accept cannot go forever, but would love Becky Lynch in Hollywood. Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? We touched on it a little bit on the weekend kickoff preview, didn't we? But it was odd to see her not see her come back at WrestleMania at Royal Rumble. Excuse me. in the build up to WrestleMania. Tonight, well, on the show, I should say, Saturday night, it's not someone I think people were guessing will show up. There are a lot of possible surprises, I think, for the Chamber, and no one's really thinking about Becky because it doesn't seem to make sense as far as an obvious storyline, at least. So, yeah, it looks like she might be off this year, which is a shame, and it's odd. I'll be honest, I feel like she might be winding down. I don't think she's done, Casper. I think she will come back at some point, but I think she's going to have a lesser schedule. So I don't think it's over. I hope it's not over anyway. And yeah, I agree with you. I think she'd be pretty good in Hollywood. She does feel like the kind of person that would be, I guess, appreciated by different audiences and yeah, be able to give off different kind of performances. You know, her character itself within WWE has changed quite a bit, and I think she's done very well at doing that. Her steampunk character and the man were two completely different presentations, but both felt very natural to her. And yeah, I think she's someone that would do well in Hollywood, but hopefully we get to see her for a little bit longer. Speaking of Hollywood, we've got Hollywood Rock on the screen at the moment. They're showing us a recap of the conversation between him and Cody Rhodes. Of course, this is going to be a big thing going into Elimination Chamber itself. What's going to happen with Cody? I mean, I think he's not going to give in to The Rock, and that will mean Rock will have to do something else. And again, we'll touch on that a bit more, I'm sure. And I can't wait for the build-up show and the live portion of it when I dive into this with the rest of my friends from the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel, and hopefully some friends from the wrestling media as always as well. So stay tuned for that one, guys. Casper says she played a heel in Marine 6. Marine 6? Is that what they're up to these days? Oh, mate, I was tempted to watch Marine 1, but I've never even got around to that. I've got a lot of catching up to do. Christopher says Becky Lynch, Sports Illustrated #1 of greatest women's wrestlers of all time. Look, it's a big shout. It's a big shout, but she's definitely in the conversation. Like, I don't think that's a how dare they conversation, is it? You know, it's the thing is, you've got the 4 horsewomen are always going to be near the top of that list. And then you've got people like Trish and Lita. Then you've got people, depending on how you judge it, China. Then people in eras who kind of were the top of their game, but again, it was a difficult time, like also for Trish and Lita. You've got Beth Phoenix, Michelle McCool. It depends how you judge it. And then you've got people coming into it the past few years, you know, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. These people are going to be going down as potential greatest of all times as well. So it's a great conversation because we've never had much to pick over. And when you go through just the 25 years that have just passed alone in Trish Stratus's career, so much has changed and the way you judge things have changed. And it's kind of similar. You can say the same with how do you compare San Martino, Gotch, and CM Punk. I guess you could still have that same kind of argument, but the difference in the last 25 years in the women's division is huge as well. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see. What does Cody Rhodes say at the Elimination Chamber, guys? Let me know in your comments what you think as well. Casper says, I like Paige in WWE. So did I, mate. Yeah, Paige is a good shout. She was another one of those. AJ Lee as well. Another 2 from a different era, right? Who kind of could have slotted into this one for sure. For those just tuning in, I am Scott, here for the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. You are watching our watch-along experience for the WWE Elimination Chamber Kickoff show. Thank you to those that joined us on the Weekend Kickoff earlier on. If you haven't seen that, you can check it out on demand on this very channel. Again, you're watching the watch-along for WWE's Kickoff show. We're going to have the build-up coverage going into Elimination Chamber on Saturday night as well. And then straight after that, we'll give you an instant reaction, our thoughts on the PLE when it's all said and done. But before we get there, let's deal with this kickoff show, guys. We've got Drew McIntyre making his way onto the stage now. And as he just mentioned there, Michael Cole, this would make Drew back-to-back winner. And I'm not usually a fan of those things, but my goodness, do I want it this year. I'm sold. I'm sold, guys. I'm sold on it. Drew McIntyre. I saw on Rob's predictions, if Drew Losers we riot, I think he said. The age-old thing, of course. Looking forward to chatting to Rob on the build-up about that. But I know at least he's on my side for Drew winning. Drew playing with Michael Cole there. Why don't we assume? Yeah, and he did go on and win the title for 5 minutes. I think his Punk's in this chamber as well. Wonder if Punk's going to interrupt him. I mean, that storyline is not the current one, of course, but man, what a story that was. You seeing Punk chants going in the background now as well. See, Drew versus Cody, like, it's not what I would have predicted a few months ago, but it does make sense in quite a few ways. The whole thing about The Rock and him being The Rock's kind of corporate champ or candidate for the corporate champ, I think is great. He deserves it as far as he's been on the run of his career. Drew reacting to Punk chants there, saying, look, he's still in the makeup chair, give him some time, he'll be here. Christopher says AJ Lee tease another return before SmackDown. I'd love to see AJ back. It's disappointing, wasn't it, not seeing it at the Rumble as well? Now, Drew calling the audience out on their, I guess, hypocrisy. Kind of put the kickoff down a bit. He was like, this is the kind of thing I'll do on SmackDown, not here. And saying, look, don't cheer me. You ain't getting something from me. Treating me bad. See, if Drew doesn't win, what does he do at WrestleMania? I know the rumor after Rumble was Damian Priest, but they seem to have really stepped away from that. I mean, it could create something in the chamber, though, couldn't it, to be fair? This could be why Damian's in the match. Drew McIntyre has given Michael Cole lip balm for when he wants to kiss Cena's butt. And he tried to put the lip balm in his jacket pocket, and then he realized it's a fake pocket. Well, no, he's sitting there, though. Going to see another chamber winner coming out next, apparently. Going to the comments, though, we've got Casper, who says Dream Elimination Chamber match for the women. Paige, Becky Lynch, Mickie James, AJ Lee, Trish Stratus, and Lita would be sick. I mean, yeah, that is a dream match when you put those names in there. Mickie James is a great name that we didn't mention earlier on, as far as up there as, you know, one of the best of all time. But yeah, we talked about WWE 2K25, didn't we, on the weekend kickoff? So that's a match you can put together in that, surely. Christopher says Chelsea Green is a mystery opponent on SmackDown. Yeah, of course, we are recording this before SmackDown. So be interested to see who that turns out to be. Unfortunately, I won't be covering SmackDown live, but we'll talk a little about what happens on SmackDown, of course, on the live portion of the build-up show on Saturday. So if you want to see my thoughts on SmackDown results, then I'll be there for you to give you that as well. CM Punk has now made his way onto the stage. Will he be winning the chamber this year? See, I like even Michael Cole's comment there. I mentioned to Drew, who was very rude, by the way, like just quite playful with it. He wouldn't really do that on a main show. Okay, so start with Logan Paul. The crowd boo. Punk says that. Start with someone else. It's a who's who until you get to that, and it's like, who's that? Good lines. Oh, no, you don't want to start with Seth either. All right, I'm going to start with Damian Priest instead. What's I'm going to say? He loves Priest. Okay. I'm a big fan of Priest as well. Punk says, don't have a personal problem with Priest, but who's going to sell her soul if Cody doesn't? That's something that I'm surprised they've said. Because Punk has hinted that if Cody doesn't do it, Rock will be looking for someone else. I think that's kind of giving away a bit of a spoiler there, almost, right? Or at least acknowledge something to make people think a certain way, which we were all thinking. Don't get me wrong, but when they mention it on TV, good thing about he's just mentioned the pod. Like I've not even thought about the logistics of the chamber match and how much I just enjoy that stipulation anyway. So yeah, been getting hyped about this show, and I haven't even thought about how fun the chamber match itself is. So Punk referring to beating Seth on the debut on Netflix, Raw's debut on Netflix, which was surprisingly definitive as an end. And I thought, oh, they'll carry on, then that'll be the match at WrestleMania. But I don't know. Maybe it is the match at WrestleMania. I don't. It's so confusing. John Cena, surely. Yeah. Michael Cole now referring to Punk's feud with Cena and asking if he's going to stand in his way. To ask the audience in Toronto how they feel about Cena. Many a cheer. Punk's asking the audience if they want to see him get to 17, and they cheered for it. CM Punk says he wants to see it, but it's not going to happen at his expense. Ooh. Punk said it's debatable if Cena is the greatest of all time. It is cool. It is cool to see Punk and Cena together. Wow. So Punk says he's looking forward to locking up for the last time, and it will be the last time because he'll have to go through Punk on this last run, essentially, and he ain't going to be able to do it. I know a lot of people have been thinking, will we get a one-on-one match between Punk and Cena in this final year? I think we might. Even if it's on a live event or something like that. Now, again, the magic conversation, main event in WrestleMania for CM Punk. What happens if you can't get it done? Now, Punk has been saying in interviews that dreams and goals change, right? So I wonder if he'll focus on it differently here. Yeah, so referring to last year, missing out on Mania and saying, look, we got next year, but is it? That's what I thought like months back going into this year. Oh, Punk's referring to literally all these kind of background storylines. We'll have to call in a favor, Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns situation, and do have a soul to sell, as in will he align with the Rock to get what he wants? Oh, maybe. Maybe. Well, that was my, you know what, going into our predictions earlier this week, when I changed my mind mid-prediction and I said Drew, I was leaning towards Punk turning heel. I don't know, man. He's going to paint a violent masterpiece for all of Toronto in the chamber, he says. Will he do that? But yeah, I was thinking, wow. Michael Cole said it'd be an opportunity for him to fight for his first world title in 12 years. Actually, yeah, in WWE at least. I mean, they're not going to mention the other one, but still. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it, guys. That is the end of WWE's kickoff show. We're still on the air, don't you worry. We'll kind of wrap up things here for just a moment. But yeah, as I mentioned, CM Punk going into this year, I assumed would be chasing the Royal Rumble and therefore the title spot at the Royal Rumble. At WrestleMania, excuse me. So really surprised he didn't win the Royal Rumble because I just felt like they, again, because last year messed up, that they had to just do it now. They just got to try again, and they didn't. Now, are they going to try again at the Chamber? We'll see. Let's get to a comment here. Casper says on WWE 2K24, Becky Lynch and Lita Tag Team, Mickey James could be the DLC for WWE 2025. Download page and put them all in a stable. All right, I know your plans now. I know your plans. Some fantasy booking on the 2K games for you there. But hey, will we see some kind of fantasy booking take place on Elimination Chamber? That was a very interesting kickoff show there from WWE, much shorter than usual. It was about 40 odd minutes, I think. Not even that. So really, really surprised that they've cut that one early. But hey, again, enjoyable. It did feel different to the other ones that we've seen in the past few months. Ironically, better in some ways, but definitely worse in some as well. I felt like some of the conversation between Trish and Nia and Candice got lost on the crowd, but I think that was because of the placement of the crowd and the lack of audio we could hear for the audience as well. So that was a bit of a shame. But I did like some of the comments and how it felt like it was part of the actual storyline. As I say, one of my favorite things about these kickoff shows is that they don't actually seem to matter in some ways, if that makes sense, because they just, especially people like Drew, and we saw it with this as well, just kind of go off script. Punk says some kind of background stuff that maybe he's reminded us too much of, if it therefore becomes a spoiler almost. But I just like the way it feels kind of off script and a bit fun. This one was really weird because you didn't have Triple H coming out, which I felt was really odd. Michael Cole was on his own, but what we did see was good. It wasn't an hour drag-in of nothingness, even though it can be wacky and fun. It was much shorter, but it actually felt like it meant more. And it could be because SmackDown is due to start very, very quickly after the kickoff show goes off air, under an hour from that. So that could be the reason. But yeah, it felt brief, didn't it? But I like what we saw. As I say, CM Punk did a great promo there. Drew McIntyre was great. Seeing some action as well. Liv and Raquel getting beat up by Naomi and Bianca. Didn't expect to see some kind of action on the stage there. So that was quite good to see. Definitely made things feel a bit more important on the kickoff show, even if Drew then disregarded the kickoff show. So that was a bit odd. Yeah, some ups, some downs. Yeah, as you say, like Pat McAfee. Didn't see Pat McAfee on this one either. So yeah, a little bit of a shame there. But guys, what did you think? Did you enjoy that kickoff show? Again, they seem to just change it up every month, like what they want the kickoff show to be. But I'm still enjoying them. I'm still enjoying doing these streams. Thank you to everyone that has tuned in, by the way, and watched this live or is watching this on the replay on the channel, or even on the build-up stream, the earlier part of that as well. Christopher says Bayley is a huge underdog to win the Elimination Chamber. 25 odds according to betting online. Look, I think Bayley's the least likely in that match to win it. Let's quickly run through the card before we do get out of here. And again, let me know in the comments, guys, what you thought of that kickoff show from the WWE. Was it just what you were expecting? Was it better than what you were expecting? Again, there were certainly things in it that I was surprised to see as far as physical kind of altercations. But I was also surprised of how short it was and kind of almost rushed, it felt as well. But let's break down the card a little bit. Again, we saw on the kickoff show Trish Stratus coming out initially to be interrupted by Candice and Nia Jax, who basically really run her down without a backup from Tiffany Stratton. So it'd be interesting to see if that kind of plays into Trish's kind of decision as to how friendly she is with Tiffany going forward. We didn't see anything as far as the Kevin Owens Sami Zayn match. You do tend to get Sami Zayn on these kickoff shows, but he was nowhere to be seen on tonight's stream. This match, of course, is one that I'm kind of split on, because it could be match of the night, it could be 30 minutes, it could be a one and done, or it could be a 5-minute brawl, pull apart, lead towards something at WrestleMania. It's really hard to tell at the moment. The women's elimination chamber, now on the kickoff show, we saw Roxanne Perez, we saw Bayley, we saw Liv, we saw Raquel is not in the match, but we also saw Naomi and Bianca briefly, of course, attacking them after what they said about Jade Cargill. But we didn't see an appearance by Alexa Bliss, which is a shame. You nearly had the whole collection there. I guess keeping it fresh, at least for what we see tomorrow on Elimination Chamber when it comes to her character, at least. This, again, is in my opinion, maybe the hardest one to pick, because I just don't know why they would pick whoever they pick, like, not that I don't like these wrestlers, I just don't know where the story goes just yet. This one, the men's chamber, is also hard to pick, but for different reasons. There are several directions I could see them going in here. Right, we didn't see Logan Paul, we didn't see Damian, we didn't see Seth. We did, however, see CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. John Cena wasn't on the kickoff show either, but still, what we did see from the two representations of that match was quite good. Again, good promos from both Drew McIntyre and from CM Punk to close things as well. Christopher says Bianca Belair and Naomi started the fight. Yeah, they did attack Candice LeRae and Nia Jax there, but did they start with Bianca? I do think we are going to get a revelation now after what was said on the kickoff stream there, with regards to them getting the blame, Liv and Raquel, and basically saying, look, we're in the match, she ain't, what's she gonna do about it? I think it's gonna look like she's gonna come to beat them up, and she's gonna go after Bianca and Naomi. But I'm going to dive into that in more detail on the live portion of the build-up show, guys. You have been watching this watch-along experience of the Elimination Chamber Kickoff show from the WWE. If you're watching live, feel free to go back and check out the Weekend Kickoff show that we did earlier on tonight as well. And if you're watching on demand, you can find that on the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel as well. If you're watching this as part of the build-up show, then stay tuned. You're going to get to the live portion very, very soon. But if you are in my timeline of Friday night when I'm recording this, then on Saturday is when we'll be going live for the build-up show, where I'll be having hopefully some friends from the wrestling media, as we always do for these big streams, joining us, and more members of the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling crew to break down what seems to be a very, very divisive card, I should say. Hopefully quite decisive at the end of it as well, as far as what we see going into WrestleMania after this one. Now, Casper says, big fan of Damian Priest. Me too, Casper. Had the great honor of interviewing the man himself. If you haven't seen it already, Casper, or anyone else who's watching the stream, by the way, guys, we have had some great conversations with Damian on this very channel. So check that out when you get the chance to do so as well. Before we get out of here, Christopher says you can't see John Cena until Elimination Chamber tomorrow night. Yeah, good. I should have got that one, shouldn't I? I should have thought of that one myself. But thanks for the comment, Christopher. Thank you to everyone that's been watching, whether you've been commenting on this or lurking in the background. We appreciate you either way. I've been Scott. This has been the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel, giving you a watch-along experience of the WWE's Elimination Chamber Toronto kickoff show. We'll be back for the build-up show, where we're going to break down this card again in more depth and detail with members of the wrestling media world and the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling crew. But thank you so much to everyone that's tuned in. Appreciate your kind words there, Casper. Great stream indeed, especially when we've got you guys joining us for it and letting us know your thoughts. But once again, I've been Scott. This has been the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel, covering the kickoff show for Elimination Chamber. If you haven't already, check out the other streams on the channel, and I'll see you for the build-up.
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year. as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.